Record.
Is she busy here or is she busy?
She had to like go to the city or something, so something came up. So yeah.
Okay. Aww. Well, do you want to ask Bailey's question first, Hannah, or do you want me to go first?
How about you can just go ahead and go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was talking to Hannah about like I've got some friends who are interested, but they want to do like a workout first or together. And so I was asking Hannah like is that like an effective way if I give them like the 7-day trial, or is it better if I just like do a workout with them, or like the 30-day trial? I just didn't want to like set them up for like failure, but I also want them to be like motivated to try it and do it. And I wanted it to be quick, where it's like, okay, work out really quick and like we can do this together, and then if you love it, let's do it, you know?
Yeah. So a couple of things on that. Like there's some things that I did in my business that later when I was reading personal development books, I was like, oh, that's what I was doing. And it was things that I've learned on my mission of, talking about this. We'll call it getting the foot in the door. I think it's important to get someone's foot inside the door. So like the things that I do for that, I remember when I was a brand new coach, like even when when we have a link, or we use the share a cart to send somebody a link to buy a challenge pack or to join as a coach or to get Beachbody on demand, any of these things, there's also a link that you can send them just to sign up as a free customer, even without buying anything. And I remember just my mindset was, even when I signed up, even a free customer, someone's like, yeah, I'll make you my free coach. And they weren't even ready to buy anything yet. I was like so excited because it was like, this is a member of my team. Like I consider anybody like that a member of my team, whether they bought anything or were a customer or a coach.
And that's what I was kind of thinking, like the momentum, right? Like I keep reading all this stuff, like if you get momentum and you feel that, like even like you said, if they're not buying anything, but I just didn't want to leave that window always open, like you know what I mean? I was nervous about it.
Yeah. So don't overthink it too much. The way that I do it is, my end goal is always like, I have a 100% solid belief that if somebody buys a challenge pack with Shakeology or the Performance Line and Beachbody on Demand and gets me as their coach and friend and support, that their life will become better. Like that's the best solution that I can give them. So that's the goal. When I deliver a message on social media, write a post, do Instagram stories, like I want somebody to understand that. When I'm making an invite, I want them to understand that. When I call them, that's the end goal, is I want them to get them connected to that, because I believe it's the best thing for them. However, I think a lot of coaches get stuck in this place of when they say like, oh, it's too expensive for me. It's too expensive, or I'm a college student, or, we're short on, I lost my job, whatever it is, any of these things. Or I already do CrossFit, or I'm already running, or I'm already using a shake at Walmart. I see like there's coaches that will be like, and it's not, most coaches do this natural. They're like, oh, you don't want to use that. That's a cheap brand. You want to use this. This is high quality, or, this is so much better. And they're like pushing against that person and what they're already doing, versus embracing them, saying, okay, awesome, Michelle, you are already on the way to, achieving your goals. You're working out, you're making healthier food choices. So my end goal is to get them into that. But if it's too expensive or whatever the objection is, I meet them where they're at and start helping them, start adding value to them, helping them. And that can lead to where your question was going, into, I always take it down from Beachbody to challenge pack to year access to Beachbody on Demand, if that's too much, 6-month Beachbody on Demand, if that's too much, 3-month Beachbody on Demand, if that's too much, let's try the 14-day free trial.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm always just like, okay, if that doesn't work right now, is this something that would work? And I had a thing happen just the other day with a girl, and she's a 21-year-old college student. And we went through that whole process all the way down to the free trial. Like I didn't even talk about Shakeology to her, because when I'm doing a phone call, I mention Beachbody on Demand. I add all the value to that. You get all these programs, meal plans, And that is, and I say $99. And then I move on to, and then you can make the choice to either use Shakeology. And when I mentioned 99, I just heard it in her voice, like, ooh, like, that's a good deal. But, and I was like, I heard some hesitation. Do you have a question? And she's like, can I make payments on that? So like, I know if I'm asked being intuitive like that and listening versus just trying to put deliver my speech or sell, you can understand what they need and stop to ask those questions. And I just tell her, no, you can't we don't have a payment plan, but there is a 6-month option or a 3-month option. Like the year option is the best value. It costs less for the amount of months you get, but here's the other ones. And she ended up saying, well, let me do the 2-week trial, and then I'll get on the quarterly membership. If I love it and I'm liking it and I know I'll use it, then I'll upgrade to the year.
Yeah.
And so what I did is I sent her from the coach link generator, or you could do it from the share cart, the registration for Beachbody on demand. And I told her, here's the link. It's going to show you all 3 options to choose from. And I just reiterated that the 3-month option is the 14-day free trial, where you put in your information, but you're not billed till 14 days. And that's why it's a 14-day free trial. And she texted me back a little bit later and she said, you know what? I just followed through and I got the $99 option. Right. So a lot of times, sometimes I got the foot in the door by getting her to just commit even to the $39.95. And then once she got in there, looked at the numbers and everything, she saw the value herself versus me trying to sell her.
Yeah.
So work on just getting the foot in the door, meeting them where they're at. And then what I know just from doing this for 8 years, if she falls in love with that program and starts losing some inches, some pounds, and she's a part of our community and she sees that, and sees other people talking about their Recover Shake, their Orange Recover that tastes like a creamsicle, or their Shakeology, one day she's going to say like, okay, I see how I could cut out this, this, and this and fit that into my budget. And then she'll step up and get the next level, right, of purchasing her Shakeology or becoming a coach and getting Shakeology and starting that process.
Yeah.
So just really focus on like every single win and having fun on just working on helping make sure that person gets results and feels supported. And if you do that, I believe you're going to get back if you give. And I've always seen that too. So.
And that's like, it's like so hard because the money, like I was telling Hannah, like, I'm obsessed in the sense of like, I love this. Like I get so to come home and work out. And I'm like, it's just with my kids, like they can do it with me. They can like sit there and play and I can do this workout that's like a half hour or whatever, you know. And I'm like, but I feel like I'm just like, it's like 20 cents a day, you know, like, come on, like, let's do this. But like, everyone's like you said, it's just the money. It's like, no, like, I'll just walk, you know. So I think you're so right. I just need to like on the journey and then maybe they'll join me on the journey. So.
Yeah. And whenever I'm like, even Hannah's brand new, like 6 months is brand new. Because like, for example, when I became a coach, you might not know this about me, but I did the workouts just like you're doing right now for an entire year and was telling people on social media and in person, like, oh my gosh, P90X is so awesome. I don't have to go to the gym. Like I can do it with my kid. I can put my kids in bed and I can work out at home. So I was planting those seeds and people were seeing that for an entire year before I ever became a coach.
Yeah.
You know, people did go get Insanity, did go get P90X, but I wasn't selling Shakeology or supplements, or I didn't even have a link for that, but they would go get it off Amazon or wherever they were getting it. So it's just that process that, like, even you're still brand new to this. Hannah's still so brand new that it takes time of helping people. And the more people that once you get them in the door, whether it's a 3-month trial and or the 3-month membership and they do 21-day fix and they get results, and then you can share their results on your Instagram stories or do an interview on Facebook Live with them or something, it's going to continue to add more credibility to what you're doing. So the people that are watching and saying it's too much money, whatnot, they're going to start to see that social proof is what it's called, of more than just you now, other people are getting results. And it just takes some time. Another great personal development book for getting good at this is this book, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. And I mentioned that book because I needed that book in the sense of like, I overcomplicate things too much sometimes because I have been doing this for 8 years. I know, let's say, all the ins and outs of everything, that when I'm doing a message on Instagram stories or on just a Facebook post, that I give too much information and people just zone it out because it's not clear. They're not clear on exactly what I can do to help them because there's so much information coming at them. So that will help you get really clear on what you can do, Michelle, to help them. And if they can see that, then they're going to be more buying into that story and then willing to invest. And then they're going to fall in love just like you are. So,
yeah.
Cool. So yeah, what other questions do you have? I see the beast coming down the stairs in the back there.
The what?
Oh, it's like Kendall running down. So I saw the beast coming down the stairs. What's up, dude?
I've been eavesdropping this whole time, so.
Oh, good.
You don't catch me out.
Were you like creeping at the top, just like ducking down at that corner?
Did you see me? My beard maybe poking out a little bit.
I saw a little beard hair down there.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Cool. Yeah. So what other questions do you have?
Well, I was wondering, like, I feel like I'm exhausted, like, when I get home from work, and, like, I'll do my workout, and then, like, I'll get the kids to bed at, like, 8, and then, like, I have been really trying to, like, spend time with my husband and, like, focus on all that and, like, do my hour of time. And I just feel like, do you know of coaches who are like kind of half social media, half just like out in their community, or you know what I mean? Like, I'm just a little nervous that my presence on social media isn't going to be as like exciting as, because you know, I'm like trying to tell my son like no screen time, right? And then like I'm on my phone or something.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I'm being hypocritical sometimes if I'm just sitting there like taking pictures and posting. But like, do you know how to make like a balance between that of like real life versus?
Yeah. That was one thing. I was just talking to some coaches earlier today on a team call for a group that's in a team cup. And I told them it was about 8 months into my business. Like, I was helping some people get some success. Because remember, I helped people for an entire year. Then I'm a coach. And now 8 months later, now I'm like a year and a half into doing this. But more intensely the 8 months that I became a coach. Before, it was just kind of casual. No like schedule, no sacrificing sleep. It was just like whenever I could, I just got on and shared. And then now I'm on this strict schedule. At like 8 months in, I remember coming to a point that if I ever saw the blue banner of my Facebook again on my phone, I wanted to throw the phone against the wall. I was just so sick of like feeling so tied to it and attached to it.
Yeah.
So some things that I had to do, and to answer back on that question, is I had to get very good at time management of unplugging completely. So Hannah can probably attest. Sometimes she'll send me a text and she won't hear back from me for like 12 hours. It's because I'm completely unplugged. Like, I will unplug it completely. The same thing. In the beginning, my love language, there's a book called The 5 Love Languages. Mine is words of affirmation. Like, I'm a workaholic. Like right now, I don't mind working. This is work at 7. Like, it's not like, oh man, I got to work. It's I got to help my wife and kids understand what I'm doing for work right now. Does that make sense? So I can work from 5 a.m. till night on my goals. But Gabby is, and so mine's words of affirmation. So all Gabby's got to do is say, Scotty, go get them. Like, go crush it. You're doing awesome. And I'm fired up and I'll work even more. Gabby, on the other hand, is words of affirmation or quality time. So she wants me to sit down and play Uno with her, watch a movie, whatever, watch The Bachelor with her, whatever it is that she wants to do. I have to be there. My mistake I was making in the beginning, that you can relate to this with your husband and your kids, is I would be sitting there watching The Bachelor like this, holding her hand and on my phone. And that bothered her. So we had to work through just communicating and her holding me accountable to turning it off. And a lot of times when I see someone burn out in coaching as well, it's because they can't turn off. They're responding to every notification, answering every text, thinking that if they don't respond to that new DM that someone says, hey, I'm interested, that they're going to lose the sale. You know, so they're always on like checking and what happens if they burn out. And I can't tell you, I mean, maybe I've lost somebody before, but I can't tell you one time in 8 years that I've lost somebody by them texting me or messaging me at 6 p.m. on Thursday night and me getting back to them at 10 a.m. or when I was working at noon the next day.
Yeah.
So just, I look at it like look at your business as a customer service for a company. Like if you emailed Walmart about a return and they didn't get back to you until 24 hours later, you'd be happy with that they responded and said, here's your shipping label to return that and we'll refund your money. But I think as coaches, we think we have to be like responsive to everything immediately in a challenge group, in our posts, in our inbox. So just get disciplined in working a set hour I don't look at notifications ever. Never, never, ever. I just go, I have like a to-do list. It's like new conversations, follow-ups, answer messages, check my challenge group, check my team page. And that's it. I don't check notifications at all. So that's going to help with that. One other thing for the kids is just, I believe in that a lot too. We went to a conference recently, Save the Kids speech, talk about screen time. And so, like my kids know that this is work. And it's hard for my kids because I've been home for 7 years. So my kids don't really know, except for my two oldest ones, that dad ever had a job where you leave at 6 a.m. and get home at night. So just communicating to them, like they didn't happen tonight, but before in the past, if I've done a team call at night, like, Dad, why do you got to do that tonight? And it would be, let's say it's on a Saturday, and it would be like, you know, before Daddy's schedule was I would be out of the house by 4:50 in the morning and I wouldn't get home until 5:30. And that was called a job. Like when you see me come into this office on my phone, when I'm talking downstairs, walking or that's my job. I just don't, it's a job that I get to do from home and I don't have to be gone. So, you know, a lot of other they're gone for 10 hours or 8 hours. And this is just going to be 30 minutes. And this is what I do for work. So just helping them understand that it's a job, just as if you, Michelle, needed to go work as a waitress 3 nights a week or whatever it is, just communicating to them that this is a job, something that you love as your passion and that you get to do for work as a job. And then just being disciplined on, this will wrap around to your question about some people have this exciting life on social media or whatnot, and you don't, let's say, is it's always going to be more about quality over quantity. So just think about being more quality about the post and what you're doing, intentional, versus just getting a bunch of stuff up that's flashy or whatnot.
Okay.
So quality over quantity all the time on posts. Yeah.
And then like one last thing, and then I'll let Hannah go because I know you have to leave. But I've always been struggling with like my like weight loss and everything. Like I feel like I keep going up and down and all this. And so my New Year's resolution this year was like to not even focus on like the scale part, but just focus on getting stronger. Like I want to do push-ups. I want to do monkey bars with my kids, like those sorts of things. And so like, is that okay for me not to post about like my inches and my weight and just focus more on like, when I started this, I did like 20 push-ups and then like post a picture of doing a push-up, or you know what I mean? Or does it have to be like before and after photos?
No, like if you were to look at my Facebook and Instagram, you will not find how many pounds I've lost or gained or inches probably for the past 6 months.
Okay.
So I'm always talking about, and this will help you do it. And like, yes, you're going to be gaining strength in doing the monkey bars and all that, but this is going to help you message it to where like, yes, you're accomplishing those things, but this will help you word your social media posts in a way that the girl that's reading the post sees herself doing that.
Yeah.
And then makes the connection between, okay, Michelle and this thing she's doing is going to help me be that person that I can become.
Yeah.
So yeah, the more that you can actually on social media, on your stories, on your post, deliver a clear message about how that girl that's reading your post can become her own hero, and not just like about what Hannah's doing or what I'm doing or what you're doing, but when they can read that post and connect with how they can become that person they want to become.
Okay.
So yeah, inches, before after pictures. This is what probably my biggest pride and joy in the last year and a half is this is a before after picture, right?
Yeah.
And he's in the Beachbody challenge to win 100,000 if he gets all the votes and wins.
Yeah.
So, but one thing I want you guys to know about that Beachbody challenge, 25% of the getting into that Beachbody challenge and the winning votes is on the before after picture. So I want you to kind of think about that and what you're asking. Maybe 25% of someone's connection to your, let's say if you're sharing inches or weight loss, and 75% is going to be the emotion that they feel or the why you want to go across the monkey bars or why you want to do push-ups is going to be like 75%, 80% of it, 20% is going to be the actual photo of here's the results.
Okay.
Okay. Some of my biggest business growth, where I was able to connect with people when I shattered my collarbone in 7 places snowboarding, and I had 2 casts on, and I was talking about how embarrassed I felt going to my daughter's, she's in a PACE program. It's like a little bit, I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like a 1 day a week they leave school and they do more advanced stuff, more practical stuff. Anyway, she was doing a presentation. We had to bring this big laundry basket with all of her supplies to do the thing, to do her presentation. And I'm walking through the school past all these teachers, and my casts were off at this time, but I can't use my arms for I'm not even supposed to lift a plate or anything. So I just talked about how embarrassed I felt. I just shared emotionally how I felt walking through a hall of all of these women who are probably moms and wives, and what they might have been thinking about me making my wife carry that laundry basket. And people just saw me go through that journey and just be real about how I felt. And it had nothing to do with I'm at the best shape of my life. And they're like, oh my gosh, I've been struggling. And obviously in the post I shared that they knew I was recovering from that surgery. But people connected with that and they're like, oh, I've had this pain in my neck, or I have scoliosis, or I have this, and I've been afraid to work out, and see that you're riding a exercise bike with 2 casts on, and that inspired me, and I want to get started. Does that make sense? So when I was at my weakest ever, but vulnerable about it, is when I was probably the most powerful at making a connection and getting people started.
Yeah.
So being able to articulate those stories, just be real about what you're going through and how you're feeling, that will connect with people the most.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So I'll be honest, I talk a lot sometimes. So I really have 40 minutes. I said 30 because I knew I would go over. So should we answer Bailey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Should we answer Bailey's question? What was Bailey's question again? So she can watch this back.
So Bailey's question was, she kind of just wanted you to talk about self-growth and personal development, and I think just how to not lose yourself while you're in the business, and being able to stay afloat even during times of discouragement.
Yeah, this is a great one. This is an hour-long topic, or 12 hours. So one thing I want you guys to understand, I don't have the phone here. When I started as a coach, I had this little MP3 player phone. I didn't even have a smartphone. So that shows you how intentional I was too. I had to sit down at a laptop and work. I didn't walk around with a smartphone on notifications. But it was an MP3 player, and I downloaded Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, The Compound Effect, and Millionaire Next Door. And I listened to there you go. And I listened to all of those books 60 times in my first year of coaching. So people are how important is personal development in this journey as a coach? It's the only reason that I made it. as I think back upon it now, like we are literally now what those books taught us. We're the millionaire next door in this little town of Idaho Falls. And there's people I saw also in this company that built businesses like we did, upwards of 7 figures, that when hard times came, because any business is going to have ups and downs, they spent all the money that they earned and then got in a hard place and then weren't true to their mission of coaching. And whereas we're, I would say, thriving, even though we went through some hard times over the past 8 years. Because just to give you an idea, we built our income to 7-figure a year, which is $1 million a year. It went down to like 600,000 as we transitioned from selling DVDs to the Beachbody on demand model, because we went from being able to sell 3 different launches with DVDs in a year to a year access. And so we had to, as a company, figure that out, and it's figured out now. And we've started climbing back up, and we'll probably be back to that number this year again. But I saw people that got discouraged, or maybe I'm not cut out for this, when they started to see a drop. And I can attribute that. I knew that would happen, because in Think and Grow Rich, all these books, it talked about people becoming millionaires and losing everything, and then doing it again and then losing everything. And it's not like I didn't expect that to happen for me, but it mentally prepared me for those types of hardships that would happen in business, so that if I have a coach quit, I'm like, oh, it's just a part of a bit. It's like if someone shopped at Walmart every day and then they decided to go to Target every day. I'm not going to cry about that. I'm just going to keep running my Walmart and doing the best I can do, right? And so the books really help me, outside of what you normally hear in Beachbody coaching, just understand business and what it takes with the mindset to do that. And take note of how many times I listened to those books. 60 times in that first year. It was just on repeat in my headphones as I was at my job, when I was driving, when I was doing my workout. So constantly feeding my mind with that. One of the other things I'm doing right now is to help like stay afloat, let's say, or stay true to my mission and make sure my message is clear, is every single day, like I have a routine. So I wake up, as I brush my teeth, like I take my time. I get up early so I could do it, and I brush my teeth, floss, all that stuff, and I listen to a conference talk every morning. I do it while I'm brushing my teeth, and then I take it out, and I'm still going while I'm drinking my shake and my pre-workout. And I come in here and I sit down and I read, which right now is this one. And then I sit down, it's just my routine, and I write out every single day. It's like almost exactly the same thing. I write out my mission. I write out who and what I want to attract into our business this year, the type of person. Look, it just says, like, I've been doing this for 8 years, but you have to like be intentional about your growth and what you want. And so it says, like, I'm a strong, powerful, and influential leader that's creating other leaders. I easily hit Success Club 40 by attracting incredible, fun, hardworking coaches who love community and love to solve problems. We have an amazing community, and I love working together with them. I'm grateful for, and then I mentioned 2 people that I'm grateful for, whether they're coaches or customers in my business right now. And so that's part of my personal development as well, is just being very intentional about not just like writing out a vision board for the year or goals, but revisiting them every single day. I didn't read the whole thing at the very beginning of it, when it says, we are dynasty strong, empowering others to continually develop into their fullest potential. We are ending the trend of obesity, and we are creating the most sustainable and reliable source of income from the home. So that's my 3 type of like mission statements, purpose. And then I go on to say, we are an elite team in 2019. We are a superstar diamond team in 2019. And pretty much where I read from there. Like I'm intentional every day about doing that. And doing that, it helps me stay focused and clear when I am making my invites, or when somebody is struggling with something and they come to me, that I'm not reactive to their struggle. Like I'm very clear on what my job, my mission is as a coach, which is help someone become a better version of themselves, give them the tools or support to do that, to help end the trend of obesity, which means help them lose weight and be on that path. And then number 3 is to help them know how to make a sustainable and reliable source of income. So like if someone comes to me like, I I don't know if I'm cut out for this, or I'm struggling with this. I'm not reactive to like, oh my gosh, like this is not working, or, emotionally reactive to that. By doing that every day, I'm very clear on, okay, my goal is to ask the right questions, give the right tools or personal development books or podcasts, and support and love that person needs to get over this obstacle that they're facing. Right? So personal development is key in helping me like that. It's also, and then we'll end on this note. It's also very, multiple times I've found myself in a burnout phase where I dreaded working, which sounds weird. Like, we make more money than I've ever imagined. I'm with my kids whenever I want. I'm on a date every Friday with my wife. We can travel, like do all of these amazing things. And even still, like, I'll sit down sometimes on Tuesday and look at my to-do list for the day, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, like I got to respond to all these messages, right? So I've gotten into that phase before where it's dread. We'll just call it dread at work or in this business. So it all comes down to the mindset of like, I'm allowing that feeling to happen, because we get feeling to everything. So I just have to become very intentional. So when I do my personal development, every morning I do at least 5 to 10 minutes of meditation, where I listen to a guided meditation, or I sit in my sauna, or I just sit and stretch after a workout in silence. And I just get really in tune with myself and what I'm feeling and why I act the way I act, or why I feel the way I feel on certain days. And it was a simple switch. And even some days I'll sit down and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got 4 phone calls. I got a call at 7 tonight. I'm not feeling good. And you can start to feel overwhelmed or stressed. And if you're overwhelmed and stressed, you're not going to be effective. You're not going to be able to mentor someone or guide them or say the right thing to help them move forward in their life. So the thing that I do is I've just created a new meaning. When I opened my phone up this morning and looked at my schedule for the day, I intentionally say, this is exciting because I get to talk to Hannah. I get to talk to the other Hannah in her team cup. I get to talk to, and I just name each person, and I say, I have the opportunity to make a positive and lasting impact on their life if I show up as the best person I can today. You see how different you can show up to your business, or how much difference you can make if you just switch that small thing of, I have to do these things today, versus how can I make a long lasting impact on this person's life today? And I look at it like there were times in my business where I didn't have prospects saying yes to get on the phone with me. I am grateful today that I have the opportunity to talk to them, because I can help perhaps make a transformation, like make an impact on someone's life like this. And I keep triggers in my office and like this. So I use those things as triggers to remind me of my purpose and what I'm here to do and how I can help people. So it is 42. I really have to go now. But Hannah and Michelle and even Bailey watches back. Whenever you guys need to chat, we'll figure out, and I can fit in 30 minutes here and there when you guys need it. That sound good?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay. Even running sneak peeks or whatever you guys need for challenge groups only or for coaching, let me know and we can coordinate and plan together on those.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Okay. All right. You guys have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll send this over to you, Hannah.
Thank you so much.
Okay.